What's up, guys? Spencer with the Fantasy Fanatics. I'm here with Nathan.
What's going on, everybody?
Week 3's in the books.
Oh yeah, it's a great week. A lot of storylines to talk about.
I'll tweet this out, and then we'll go through some injuries and stuff like that.
Injuries hit kind of hard, especially in that Giants game. Their number one receiver now is who?
Kenny Golladay. Oh, come on now. Come on now.
I don't know about that one.
But let's start with the Giants. Sterling Shepard. I think I saw somewhere where he had. I had this before we came on. Now,
unbelievable. To say we're prepared.
Look at the preparation. Hold on.
We pull up ESPN's website and we're ready.
It was a hamstring injury. They don't know the severity of it just yet. It kind of sounded like it was minor after the game, but he did get ruled out pretty quick after he got hurt.
Yeah, and he didn't I think immediately after he had his helmet off on the sideline, so it was a pretty quick diagnosis.
Good Lord, I'm blanking here.
We are live there, right?
Yeah, we are live.
Okay, let me make sure it went out.
We are live. Let's talk
Dude,
about...
we are gaining followers every single day.
Hey, let's talk about the biggest signing of the year. Josh Gordon. I am a huge Josh Gordon guy.
I would argue it's the second biggest.
Behind who?
Le'Veon Bell to the practice squad.
Oh, come on now. No, but Le'Veon, I was going to get the Josh Gordon jersey. The Josh Gordon shirts right there.
You're going to throw it on?
I forgot to put it on. But do you see any kind of fantasy relevance there? I think he is the number one waiver claim this week.
I don't know about that one. He hasn't even been moved up.
I mean, I'm a huge Josh Gordon fan.
I think number one waiver is a little excessive. I think he's definitely got potential, especially in the Chiefs offense. I just hope that they played him on the field because last time we saw him when he was in Seattle, he was their number 3 receiver behind DK and Lockett. And it was like he would swap out with like Malik Turner and people like that. Like if he's really got it like he used to, he's got to be in there. I mean, you would think he's better than Byron Pringle and Demarcus Robinson and McCole Hardman. So,
oh yeah, I think he's their first best pass catcher now.
Yeah.
But
tell Trav, take a back seat, bub.
Could you imagine if he got in there and just started lighting things up, though?
Like he threw it back to like the Brandon Whedon connection and just started catching tip bombs.
How insane would that be?
Well, I mean, if there ever was a team, like that's the team to be on.
That's like best case scenario.
Yeah, I don't think that maybe the Bills.
Yeah, but they already have,
he'd be their number one easily.
They already have one of the best in Emmanuel Sanders, so and Gabriel Davis. Golly, he probably wouldn't even be better than Gabriel Davis.
It'd be a sick practice squad. It'd be somebody for them to replicate DK whenever they have to play Seattle next year.
I think they got that just fine the last year.
No, they didn't get DK. They got the rest of the team.
You know what? We can allow 300 yards to DK every time, but just
he took Trey White and threw his face into the ground. But anyways,
the Bills hung a 50 burger on him.
Yeah, was DK out there guarding the receivers? I didn't think so. Anyways, swiftly moving on.
All right, let's recap the Thursday night football game. The 3-0 Panthers, I think they are frauds.
Because they've played the Texans, the Jets, and who is the other team? The Saints?
Saints.
Yeah. Davis Mills is a stud.
Oh, we forgot to include one of the biggest injuries of the week, Christian McCaffrey. A little Sterling Shepard rundown.
Well, there's other injuries we got to get to, like Dalvin Cook not playing this week and stuff like that.
Let's start off with Christian McCaffrey. Chuba Hubbard. It does not sound like McCaffrey is going to hit the IR. It does sound like he is potentially only going to be out maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Chuba Hubbard is a RB2. during those 2 weeks. I think I am not as high on Chuba Hubbard as some people.
Yeah, he just didn't look very good. I got to see him in the preseason play, and he had some bad drops. Didn't look good as a runner, but if he gets the McCaffrey role where he's in there for over like 75% of the snaps, you never know. I mean, the offenses look pretty good.
I think what a lot of people aren't talking about is Royce Freeman is going to play a part in there. It's not going to be like 100% Chuba Hubbard.
I think Royce Freeman looked pretty good, to be honest. I know his stats don't say so. It says he averaged 3.4 yards per carry, but I thought he looked okay. I mean, it was no worse than Chuba.
I think it could be like a 60-40 split.
I could see it, yeah.
And I mean, at best, RB2 for Chuba Hubbard. He's not going to be like an RB1 people are talking about.
Yeah,
like Mike Davis was.
Well, he's not going to be the Alexander Madison of this past week where you just plug and replace for Dalvin Cook. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and DJ Moore is just a stud.
He's a stud,
eight catches, 126 yards, 12 targets. And when we thought that they could maybe have 3, good receivers this year, it seems like they only have 1.
What's happened to Robbie Anderson?
I don't know, but he just does not look good. And
maybe him and Sammy D's got some beef.
He's not getting thrown to. I don't know if he's not creating separation or something, but I mean, at some point he's got to get frustrated. Because 2 targets, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, and some people might call him the DJ Moore of the Texans, but Brandon Cooks has looked like prime Brandon Cooks this year. It doesn't matter who's thrown to him, whether it's Tyrod or Davis Mills. Like he's been producing every single week. I think he's a solid high-end wide receiver too.
And I think that offense is going to be having to catch up all the time.
You mean every game, all the time?
Yeah, like
they might as well flip the coin and give the other team like 14 points. So
they are going to be throwing the entire time, and due to that, I don't think any of the Texans running backs are playable.
Do you think they're rosterable?
Yes, I do think all of them are rosterable, besides Phillip Lindsay.
So I've had 2 of them in the past week, and I plan on dropping both of them because I see 0 upside on them.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm talking about Ingram and Lindsay.
One of them can have that big game. I don't know. David Johnson just looks bad. Mark Ingram looks good in the touches he gets, but when you're down by, they weren't even down by a lot. They just want to throw the whole time.
Well, even when they're up, Phillip Lindsay plays the least amount of snaps, and when they're down, Phillip Lindsay plays the least amount of snaps. So, and everybody's talking about, oh, he's the one with the highest ceiling. That's why I think, like, I don't see any point in having any of them. Like, I wouldn't even plug them in.
Look bad.
What?
Did you say David Johnson didn't look bad?
No, they all look bad.
Oh, okay.
I said they all look bad.
I thought you said he doesn't look bad, and I was like,
no,
here comes the David Johnson obsession.
No, that's long gone, especially in this offense. It's not good.
The only reason I say any of them are rosterable is because I would just keep one of them, hoping for like a big week, and then try to flip them for anybody.
I just don't think anybody's even going to take that. Like, who wants any part of that offense other than Brandon Cooks?
And then Anthony Miller caught a touchdown. That's irrelevant, though.
Yeah, don't even bother with him.
And then we'll go.
He's no Josh Gordon.
Well, who really is? I mean.
Oops, sorry. Let me mute this. I'm looking to see if we have anybody in the chat, but I don't think we do at the moment.
I get the alert on this app.
Okay. Cool. Just had to give us another viewer there.
Yeah. off to Bills in Washington. My favorite
mean the Bills?
team to my favorite team to Bills, just absolute. Good Lord, this was a bad game for the Washington football team.
Their defense is so bad. Like, horrid.
Well, they get like inconsistent pressure, and then their secondary is just so poor. And it's I mean, this was a
bad.
top 5 defense, everybody thought, coming into the year, and they just look awful.
Yeah, a lot of people picking Chase Young as defensive player of the year.
I do think they turned it around a little bit. I don't know if I might be biased, but I don't think this was about Washington being bad. I think this is about Buffalo just Josh Allen returning to, his 2020 form. I mean, he was just, threw the ball 53 times. Felt like he had somebody open every single time.
I mean, it helps when you have nobody pressuring you and nobody covering your receivers. It's like playing backyard football against like some elementary school players.
Oh, we're talking about Washington's defense. Don't do that.
What do you mean? Look, they scored 43 points. It was like they weren't even out there.
They held the Chargers to like 17 or 14 a week one.
Yeah, but I heard this stat today on Fantasy Focus where they're on pace for the worst third down percentage in NFL history by like a wide margin.
Yeah,
for like their defense.
Ron Rivera's got to get them boys going, though. I feel like that's just. But let's talk about the Buffalo running backs. We'll go to the Washington running backs in a second. But the Buffalo running backs, if you had to choose one, who are you choosing? Like if
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss?
Yeah.
And something that I'd like to see, though, is Zach Moss was catching passes yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, people were overreacting week one when he was inactive, and I think that was like validated by the injury news.
He's just never looked good. As a Buffalo fan, he has never looked good until last week. He has never, looked good at all.
But neither has Singletary.
Hold on.
When you went to the bar, you said, yeah, that's exactly what I said, actually.
Hey, but Singletary looked good in 2019, though. I mean, he didn't look great, but he looked good. But I don't think any of those guys are startable yet.
I think Zach Moss is an okay flex option, but I would stay away from Singletary. Because I think Zach Moss is their goal line back, and he's getting more pass catching work.
Yeah, if he gets the pass catching work, I mean, that's a great offense to be catching passes in. Antonio Gibson didn't do much on the ground.
For once,
he caught a 73-yard touchdown that kind of saved his fantasy week.
That was beautiful.
He showed what he could do in open space in that run too. He's so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Buffalo.
They gotta feed him.
Buffalo's run defense is looked really good this year too.
I agree. Yeah.
But Terry McLaurin, 4 catches, 62 yards, just was not a good outing by Washington at all.
Yeah.
Better weeks are ahead for all of them. Now let's talk about the Buffalo receivers. Stefan Diggs. You also think better days are coming. You're not freaking out about him yet, are you?
No. He got 10 targets, and in this offense, Josh Allen's going to feed him. Emmanuel Sanders is not going to have 94 yards and 2 touchdowns every week. Like, that's going to Diggs.
Who would you rather have, Cole Beasley or Emmanuel Sanders?
In what format? Because I think PPR it's Cole Beasley and standard probably Sanders.
PPR.
We'll say half point PPR for compromise. I'd probably still go with Beasley. Just because I think Beasley has slot locked down, whereas Sanders is competing with Gabriel Davis.
Well, I think Beasley is just like the safer option. I mean, Sanders might give you the 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Beasley's going to give you 7+ catches every game, it feels like.
Yeah.
To the Bears, Browns. Bears looked awful.
You think Grant's going to comment during this?
One of the worst offensive showings I've just 6 completed passes. They netted 1 yard in the passing game. And Allen Robinson, golly, they need Andy Dalton back. I was kind of hoping they'd start Fields. I think it was more Matt Nagy's play calling though.
I agree.
Than Justin Fields.
It was. I think it was the offensive line too. Like I saw some stats today where Fields had like less than 1 second to throw the ball.
But you're still starting Robinson and Montgomery every week.
I think you have to.
Yeah, you got to. You're not going to have a better option. I mean, you probably spent 3rd or 4th round pick on those guys.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, would you start, say if Dalvin Cook's out another week, I would start Alexander Madison over Montgomery if Fields starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a question. Would you start Justin Fields next week?
I'd have to. Who do the Bears play next week? Let's see. The Raiders. I am not starting Justin Fields next week.
Yeah, I think he's going to be inside top 20, though.
In a regular 10-team league, I'm not starting. I have a question. Who would you start Teddy Bridgewater or Justin Fields?
I go Teddy because I've seen it, because he showed it. But I think Fields has potential.
Derek Carr, Justin Fields.
Dude, Derek Carr's been a stud.
He has been. He's been.
I'd start
good.
Carr. Yeah. Let's move on to Cleveland's running backs. Start.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt had the bigger game, but Nick Chubb still had 22 carries. Kareem Hunt's just Kareem Hunt, though.
He's so good. I wish he was on a different team, to be honest. Just okay. That's very fair. And that came from a Bears fan, too. That takes a lot to type that.
Yeah. But Odell Beckham, I watched the game today. I watched a little condensed game of it, and Odell Beckham looked good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looked really good. Very explosive.
That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting way less. I was expecting like maybe 2 catches for 22 yards, something like that. 5 catches for 77 yards is encouraging.
Well, what other receivers are they going to throw to?
Exactly. I mean, Jarvis Landry's on the IR. I think Odell Beckham is returned to wide receiver 2 status. I saw some people say he's a wide receiver 3 or 4, borderline flex. Like, no.
I would say he's maybe a low end wide receiver 2 right now. Like, I'm not like, if I have him on my team, he's likely in my starting lineup. It really just depends on what other receiver you have. You've for sure got a better number 1 option, but as far as a number 2 option, I think with Landry out, you can probably safely play him.
But you're going to get more confident as he gets in those, right?
Yeah, and it was nice to see 9 targets in a game where they outscored the other team by 20.
Yeah, the Bears do not look good. Speaking of Justin Tucker, I have no idea what's going on with this ESPN. ESPN, get your crap together and be like the fantasy fanatics.
Yeah, we come prepared. We pull up your site. You got to pull up ours.
I think we got it now. There we go. All right. Lamar Jackson had an underwhelming game. Mm-hmm. He had Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown dropped 3 passes. Lamar had 2 touchdowns. He did have a long run. How long was it? 31 yards? Mm-hmm. That kind of, no, it's where that whole rushing thing comes from. But Tyson Williams and Latavius Murray, I mean, I was pretty high on Tyson Williams going into this week. I'm backed off of that, and now I've had him at running back 17, I think. And now I think he's around that 25, 26 range.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, they didn't get a whole lot of opportunity. It's not like Lamar had 20 carries and was hogging it. They just didn't have many opportunities. And Lamar, he's always got that solid floor. The rushing yards always going to be there, so you can start him every week. But as far as the running backs, I still think Tyson Williams is the one you want, but Latavius Murray, I think, would just slowly and surely creep his way into that role.
Would you start Latavius Murray next week?
No.
Would you start him or
Le'Veon Bell? Give me Bell. Okay.
Gosh, you and Le'Veon Bell.
He's coming.
As we see here, Deandre Swift threw an incompletion, which should have been an interception. We were talking about that. I didn't know it actually registered as a pass. But Deandre Swift looked good. He had 7 catches for 60 yards and then 14 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown. Deandre Swift's a stud, especially in PPR.
Yeah, he's super talented. We've seen that in the past couple of games. He's had a couple of nice touchdowns. And then Jamal Williams there too. It's not like one's taken away from the other. Like, they're both getting great work. I think it's got to be close to a 50-50 share. It's maybe 60-40 in favor of Swift. But what do you think of Swift? You're obviously starting every week. What do you think about Jamal Williams?
I don't think he's worth starting unless Swift gets injured.
Really? He's produced every game.
I mean, if you absolutely have to, but I don't think he's startable. So you think he is startable?
I think he's at least a flex option. Yeah.
Oh, crap. I just exited out of that.
What are we doing?
Dude, what is going on right now?
This would not be happening if we had that verified check mark. Ask on behalf of the rest of the Fantasy Fanatics, what are y'all's records in 3-6 league? He was undefeated, asking for a free.
Is Grant undefeated?
Yeah, I think it's him. I think Mac's going to be undefeated, and
Oh, you are just not expecting Amari Cooper to have 120 yards and 2 touchdowns this week? Come on, guy.
wait, and there, I thought I saw there was one more. Is Jackson undefeated?
Probably. His team's a wagon. Dude, his team is rolling.
Yeah.
Jackson's got a team.
There's a lot of good teams this year.
But Mark Andrews had 5 catches, 109 yards. He's kind of shutting up people who said he's touchdown dependent, including
I think that's a fluke.
me. You don't think Mark Andrews is a thing?
No, well, he's a thing, but I do think he's touchdown dependent. I don't think he's going to be having 109 yards every week.
I do think that Marquise Brown, though, is a thing. I think he is a wide receiver 3 and a good at that. Would you rather have, let's say, Marquise Brown or Michael Gallup when healthy?
Gallup.
Gallup?
Yep. I'd rather have Gallup.
What about Marquise Brown or Jarvis Landry when healthy?
Brown. Real quick, I just want to say something to reply to Grant. I think him, Mac, and Jackson all have a chance of losing this week still. If, Miles Sanders, steps off the bus and maybe snaps his leg in half, then...
No, I think Grant needs 1 point to win, right?
He needs 2. He needs 2 points. So, Miles Sanders, I don't know, might get hit by a bus or something.
Carson will beat Jackson if Dallas Goedert doesn't have 6, right?
Yep, that's correct. And then if Amari Cooper goes for 22, you'll beat Mac. Hey, crazier things have happened.
He put up 25 the first week against a good defense, so who knows?
Hey, that's 160 yards in a tutty. That's not that bad.
Or just 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Or Jim could be undefeated if Ezekiel Elliott goes for 37. So
that's just not out of the realm. I mean, that's only 300 yards and a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So
yeah, I don't think Grant can go to sleep yet. He's got to see those 2 points come in for Miles Sanders.
Imagine if he only has like 7 yards.
Dude, I never want to see anybody get hurt apart from Josh Allen, but I would not, be very mad if Miles Sanders came out like the first play.
Oh my!
Just to repost that. That would be great.
But let's talk about the Colts. Carson Wentz.
One second.
All right, you're good. I'll go ahead and speak for myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Colts, Carson Wentz does not look great. Completed almost 50% of his passes. Jonathan Taylor, I'd have to check the snap count. But I think Nyheim Hines played more snaps than Jonathan Taylor. Let me go check up on that real quick. Nyheim Hines played 56. Jonathan Taylor played 48. I'm still, I would rather want Jonathan Taylor all day above Nyheim Hines, but Nyheim Hines has definitely carved out a role. I still think Jonathan Taylor high-end RB2 behind such a good offensive line. But Nyheim Hines is almost a flex play in PPR leagues. He had 5 catches for 54 yards on 6 targets. Michael Pittman had 6 catches for 68 yards on 12 targets. So he's a borderline flex also. More playable than Nyheim Hines, I do think, though.
Sorry, some technical difficulties.
Oops. I was just talking about how Nyheim Hines played more snaps than Jonathan Taylor.
I did see that, but I think that was just solely game script. But
I did say that I think Jonathan Taylor high-end RB2 and Nyheim Hines borderline flex play in PPR leagues only. He's definitely carved out a role in that offense, I think, though.
Yeah, it's interesting though because Jonathan Taylor was catching a lot of balls the first 2 weeks. You just hope that have we gone through tonight's prediction? Grant needs to be patient.
Yeah, we got to still go through all these games, Grant. Just chill a little bit, bub.
Yeah, I think it'd be more encouraging if you saw Jonathan Taylor catching passes. But if this is the norm, I think Jonathan Taylor comes down to RB2.
Derrick Henry got fed 28 carries, 113 yards, caught 3 balls for 31 yards. So Derrick Henry catching passes is a real thing now. That makes him even more dangerous.
Oh, dude,
I got a
Go ahead.
I got a question today. Someone said, would you trade Derrick Henry for Saquon and Brandon Ayuk?
No.
You would keep Henry?
Yes. I was watching Fantasy Focus today, and they were talking about if you're redrafting today, would you take Derrick Henry at number 1?
I would draft McCaffrey. I still think he'll win you a championship.
You think so?
Yeah, I'd still draft McCaffrey and Cook, and then go Henry.
I don't know about Cook. I think I would take Henry over Cook now. They were talking about Travis Kelce as another option instead of Henry at number 1.
Wow, that's just absolutely stupid. No, McCaffrey should be the number 1 overall pick in all. If you're drafting, say week 4, you're still taking McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
How early would you take Najee Harris though? When we're talking about,
I think he's definitely in the first round now, and in PPR he's definitely in the first round. But
we'll get more to that in Steelers. We'll talk about the Steelers.
Yeah, that's fine.
But AJ Brown is going to miss a couple weeks. It sounds like. Don't take my word for it. But I mean, that stinks. That just helps Julio even more. I think Julio is now a borderline low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2.
I think wide receiver 2. Because, I mean, you see in this game without him, he has 47 yards. So
that was a weird game. I watched that over a little bit. It's a weird game.
It was. But, I mean, you just got to go by what you see.
I saw a thing. You would think Carson Wentz is like the most sacked quarterback like in a while. And every time he takes a sack, he lands so awkward and he tries doing the stupidest stuff when he's getting sacked.
I mean, that's kind of like respect though. Like he doesn't try and save his body. He's playing hard. I think it sometimes makes dumb decisions.
How about Justin Herbert though? 281 yards, 4 touchdowns.
He's a real deal.
I mean, they looked good against the Chiefs. And Mike Williams, what do you think he is? I think he's a high-end wide receiver 2 now.
Oh yeah, has he passed Keenan Allen?
I wouldn't say that. I would.
I think they're right there. I think in my rankings, I'm bringing Allen down and moving Williams up, and they're going to be probably within 4 or 5 spots.
Where do you think you're going to rank Williams this week? I think I'm going to rank him around that 15, 16.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, Allen still did have more targets, but Mike Williams, the big play guy, he's a bigger body. They look for him in the end zone. I was impressed. I was going against Mike Williams, and I'm lucky that I was still able to win this week. But he made me nervous.
It took 3 or 4 years for him to get going, but this looks like
that was injury. That was injury related.
This is like the guy they drafted in the top 10. You just got to hope he stays healthy. If he does, he is legit. Jack asked us a question: would you trade Keenan Allen for Mike Evans?
I would not.
I would rather have Keenan Allen.
I think I would too.
Just because of the consistency.
Yep.
You know what you're going to get out of Keenan Allen. He's get you 8+ targets.
He's got a good floor. And Tampa Bay, when Antonio Brown comes back, he's going to be splitting targets with Chris Godwin, AB, Gronk, whereas it's mainly just Mike Williams and Austin Eckler here. So
Austin Eckler's been looking good though in the past few weeks.
Looked very good, yeah. Quick side question, not relevant to fantasy. Do you think Justin Herbert has a chance to be a AFC Pro Bowler this year?
All right, let's think about this. Right.
I think Mahomes is a lock, and if Josh Allen keeps playing like this week, Josh Allen's a lock.
I think Derek Carr right now would be in over Herbert if he continues this.
Just because he's 3-0?
Well, and he's just, I think he's leading the league in probably AFC touchdowns, AFC yards.
It's like NFL. I think it's like all quarterbacks probably.
And if you look at the weapons, he literally has Darren Waller and then like Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs. I mean, he is throwing not to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
To be fair, though, like Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs have been coming through. Like I know Waller's the guy, but they've looked the supporting cast look pretty good.
Berkey asks us, should we I trade A-Rob and Gibson for Hopkins and Jacobs? I think you got to trust in Allen Robinson a little bit more. I think I'd rather have Allen Robinson and Antonio Gibson.
I agree. I think Hopkins is certainly better than A-Rob, but I think Gibson is miles ahead of Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is extremely touchdown dependent.
I would not sell Allen Robinson right now. I'd say give him a little bit more time. I do still think he has top 20, top 15 wide receiver potential when Andy Dalton comes back.
Absolutely.
I am so disappointed in Justin Fields.
I don't think it's Justin Fields' fault. I think Fields. I'm gonna say Fields keeps a job this next week, and I saw their schedule coming up. It is rough. They've got some tough defenses, but if Justin Fields can get it figured out within the next couple of weeks, I think A-Rob. I mean, he's gonna be his main guy, and A-Rob can produce at minimum top 20 production.
So we're sticking with Allen Robinson and Gibson, correct?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. All right. Off to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is now throwing interceptions in back-to-back weeks after not throwing any in September previously. He's still QB1 for me. Actually, I think he's QB2 or QB3. I thought about Kyler Murray and Josh Allen there for a second. Kyler Murray is clear number one, I think, for right now. Until otherwise,
it's hard to disagree with that. His running ability and he's got so many weapons, even on the backfield, Chase Edmonds, and then he's got 4 legit receivers right now. Like it's tough to argue with that, and especially if the defense doesn't hold up, he's going to be slinging it.
And we never hope for injury, but talking about the Chiefs for a second, if Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce went down, I think their season is over.
What do you mean? They got Josh Gordon on the way.
Yeah, all right. But Josh Gordon bias aside, those two make each other work. Like, you can't double team Travis Kelce because then you have Tyreek Hill and vice versa. I think they're the most vulnerable team if one of those guys got injured. Patrick Mahomes, of course. Just Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill.
I disagree though. I think they would be fine. That whole system. Like, obviously, McCole Hardman isn't a straight replacement for Tyreek Hill, but he can do a role. And if Josh Gordon has some kind of role in this, he didn't have to
win
be
in the Super Bowl.
Gordon.
If Josh Gordon gets back to halfway to who he was at 2015, they're winning the Super Bowl.
He's going to have about 2,500 yards. Mahomes going to throw for about 65 touchdowns.
Clyde Edwards returned 17 carries for 100 yards. He did fumble, but he had 2 catches, 9 yards, and a touchdown. Sell high.
I would agree. I think it depends on your team. If he's your RB 1 or 2, I would definitely try and move him. But if he's your flex, I think that's a great flex to have. If he's your RB 1 or 2, I would trade him and try and get more depth. Try and get an RB 2 and a wide receiver, like a serviceable wide receiver 3 maybe in return for him, because running back in the Chiefs offense, you should be able to get at least something. But I don't know.
I personally don't think Clyde Edwards is a great player.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he is I don't think they ever should have drafted him in the first round. I would have thought maybe J.K. Dobbins was better coming out of college than Clyde. I think Clyde Edwards is they could have used another wide receiver more than Clyde Edwards, I think.
Well, imagine if they had James Robinson in that class. I know he didn't get drafted, but what if you put James Robinson on the Chiefs right now?
I think James Robinson's better.
I do too.
Well, I don't think James Robinson could catch passes like Clyde. So I think that's why they went for Clyde over everybody else, because Clyde showed that he could catch passes at LSU.
Or Deandre Swift there.
That would be insane.
Swift. Antonio Gibson. If Antonio
those two would be borderline top 10 running backs.
Oh yeah.
Grant asked, who should I start in my flex next week? Chuba Hubbard versus Dallas, Corey Davis versus the Jets, or Henry Ruggs versus LA.
Corey Davis. I'd go Corey Davis. I think Zach Wilson's got he's got a lot of potential, and you think Corey Davis too, right?
I think Chuba Hubbard.
Corey Davis though, but it's I think Grant should play Corey Davis.
Do you face Grant?
Well, I don't know, but we think Corey Davis. I'd go Corey Davis, Grant.
Why are you saying that?
Because we want Grant to play Corey Davis.
No, he should play Henry Ruggs if we're trying to screw him over.
The answer is clearly Chuba Hubbard, but we want Corey Davis.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard for sure.
Grant, comment who you play next week.
I think I play Jackson next week, so I play another undefeated team. So that's great.
Yeah, you've got it rough coming up. Let's see who Grant plays next week. If it's me, I would probably play Corey Davis.
Henry Ruggs, or I'd maybe pick up somebody like KJ Osborne to play him.
Let's see. I play Max, so I'll play an undefeated team next week. Grant plays Will. Okay, yeah, Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, we want Will to go 0-4.
Yeah. We're trying to bully him into playing fantasy basketball.
Oh, he did say he wasn't playing fantasy basketball.
Will, what are you doing? Will. He's a fake Hornets fan. He was cheering for LaMelo last year in your basement the loudest, and now he doesn't want to play fantasy basketball. Like, what is going on?
If anybody in here wants to play fantasy basketball, comment and say you do, and we'll get you an invite. I think we have
why don't we just add them to our existing league with like Grant and Mac and all those guys?
I don't think Mac's in it yet. I think it's just me, you, and Grant, and then two other people who joined on Twitter.
I think Mac will definitely play. I think we can get Robbie to play. Will needs to play. Will, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If Will's watching, what are you doing? I will play next week, so I guess I can just leave. I play Will's. Yeah. Grant, ask Will why you don't want to play. This is unbelievable.
Hey, you text Robbie and Mac, though.
Yeah, they'll play.
All right.
I know Mac definitely will. And I think Robbie will too.
All right. Jameis Winston continues to throw for no yards. All right. So I wanted to bring something up real quick.
Okay.
I think you are valuing. What do you value Michael Thomas when he gets back? I think he is a top 10, 12 to 15 wide receiver.
I think I would agree with that starting out, but I think he's definitely got potential to be higher than that because of who else is in that offense.
Can play, like I thought it was going into the year. I mean, I understand Jameis Winston has no targets. I mean, no real receivers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just looked pathetic so far.
Well, that's what's going to happen when you're throwing to like Kenny Stills and Marcos Callaway and Deontay Harris. Like,
I think you hate Kenny Stills.
Huh?
I think you hate Kenny Stills.
Oh, I'm not a Kenny Stills fan at all.
But this is like the same team that Drew Brees brought to the NFC divisional round last year.
He had Jared Cook.
Yeah, but that's
and he had Emmanuel Sanders.
I thought we didn't like Emmanuel Sanders. Now we like Emmanuel Sanders.
Well, on the Saints, I mean, well, look at Emmanuel Sanders now on the Bills, and this is just hiding on the Saints.
One more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm saying yes to the second one.
Yeah, I'd say yes to both. What? You wouldn't trade Keenan Allen for Diggs?
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Yeah, I would
trade for Diggs, trade for DK. If you can get either of them, absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I wish people like this were playing in our league. I mean, I tried trading with. It feels like me and you are the only ones sending out offers in this league.
No, Max sends out offers. They're just like the worst offers you've ever seen.
His offers are absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you both of my kickers for your 2 RBs. David
Montgomery and D. Samuel for Cortland Sutton is the one I got a couple weeks ago.
You text him back, and he's like, but it's both my kickers. They're one of them's bound to get you 7 a week.
He said, but Cortland Sutton's a starting wide receiver. That's literally what he said.
Everybody is that plays fantasy football.
But let's talk about New England. All right, I have a question. How many snaps do you think Damian Harris played?
Based on
percent of
those, if Mac Jones is throwing the ball 51 times, I'm going to say 15 snaps.
No, what percent of snaps? I only
Oh.
have the snap percentage here.
25.
Whoa, that's super low.
What do you play?
I'm trying to find it right now. Look at me being all prepared.
30 max, maybe?
I think it was 31%.
Yeah, well, all you got to do is look at Mac Jones throwing the ball
Would you
51
like to
times.
guess who played the second most amount of snaps and how many they played?
What do you mean? As far as running backs?
I mean, first, most amount of snaps is running backs.
Scroll down a little bit.
Hold on.
I'm going to say Brandon Bolden.
Yep. How many do you think he played?
Probably like 45%.
Yeah, 46. So,
dude, this is right off the dome. I'm surprising myself here.
I
didn't even watch this game.
If you're a Damian Harris owner, are you freaking out? I mean,
no.
I mean, you can't sell him right now because unless
he's probably your RB2, probably RB2 or flex.
I didn't love Damian Harris going into the year because I hate New England running backs, but he's impressed me as a runner more than anything. Watching him,
I like him.
So better days are ahead.
Agreed.
For sure.
What about any of the pass catchers?
No,
I'm staying away from all of them.
Yeah, I mean, Jonnu Smith. I was super high on him going into this year.
If you have like Kendrick Bourne, throw out a trade offer, maybe someone will bite, but I would stay away from all of them.
All right, Matt Ryan, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Davis, 12 carries for 250 yards. Davis.
What did you say? 250 yards.
I said 12 carries, 50 yards. I thought
he said 12 carries for 250 yards. I'm like,
a man could only wish. Mike Davis just has not looked.
Sucks. Just say it. He sucks.
He just has not looked good at all.
Cordero Patterson should be the RB1 there.
You think so?
I stand by that 100%. Yeah.
Well, I don't. Whoever's the RB1 there, I think is a borderline flex play.
I agree.
That offense stinks.
I feel bad for Calvin Ridley because he's so good, and then as soon as Julio Jones leaves, the offensive line turns into like a JV team. So it's kind of tough.
Kyle Pitts is still startable though, right?
Pitts, Ridley, 100%. Yeah, this is just an off week. I mean, look what he did against the Bucs. He showed he's got it. They've just got to get the offensive line sorted out and make sure Matt Ryan has time, and Pitts will get his. Trust me, Pitts will 100% get his. So will Ridley.
You have Tyler Higbee and Kyle Pitts. Who are you playing next week?
Probably Kyle Pitts still.
Okay.
Just because his talent, I think he's a freak.
Saquon Barkley, I put out a tweet today. Is Saquon Barkley back? A lot of people said no, but I think this is signs of improvement. He was catching balls. He was, had 15 plus carries, found the end zone. This looked a little bit more like Saquon Barkley that we know, and that's so good to see.
I saw he played a lot of the snaps, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he played 80 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So, Saquon Barkley, I think, that 1 week I said don't start Saquon Barkley. I think he should return to high-end RB2 status and has the potential to be high-end RB1, top 5 running back.
100%.
So
with that kind of passing game work as well, I think he's going to keep on getting more and more work. I mean, are you really going to put Elijah Penny on the field over Barkley? Like he's miles ahead of the rest of them.
Saquon Barkley, as he keeps going, as long as he stays healthy, he'll be good. So he'll just keep getting better and better.
Let me give you a few would you rather plays. Barkley or like Eckler?
Still say Eckler, but I think Barkley has the chance to pass him in the next couple of weeks. If you have to choose between Eckler and Barkley to play,
well, I'm just saying, like, who would you rank higher, Barkley or
Eckler this week?
Okay, Barkley or Gibson?
Gibson this week.
Barkley or Naji?
Naji, just because of Big Ben is so bad.
Okay.
Just because I think he has a noodle and will be dumping it off to him. Najee Harris is not going to give you 100 rushing yards.
Okay. Barkley or J-Rob?
That's a little bit closer. I'd still lean.
I think season long probably Barkley, but if J Rob
Yeah,
keeps producing like he did this past week, it's gonna be very close.
yeah. If Barkley, gets going a little bit, like he's showing signs right now, I think that he has a chance to pass all of those guys.
It's gonna take like a 70-yard touchdown for me to really say Saquon's back. Personally, I mean that's what he's known for is those home run shots.
All right, off to Bengals Steelers. We were talking about Najee Harris, but let's start off with the Bengals. Joe Mixon gets fed every single week. He is now a low end RB1 for me.
I agree. Is he inside your top 10?
He's not inside my top 10. I probably have him at 11 or 12.
Yeah, I think he's right outside it. I'm loving what I'm seeing with the volume, and when you see Samaje Perine just getting one carry, that's exactly what you want. And he's been effective in past years. He's been kind of ineffective. I mean, inefficient. Sorry. So he's showing he's got it. And if in that offense, the Bengals look good. Like I know the Steelers look bad, but the Bengals look pretty good. So good signs for Joe Mixon owners.
Let's go to Jamar Chase, who just keeps catching touchdowns. I said,
Is he coming for Randy?
We were watching yesterday, and I asked Nathan, I said, who has the rookie touchdown record? And I thought it'd be like 11 or 12, and he said, Randy Moss. And I said, oh, okay, how many? And he said, 17. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. But Jamar Chase, high-end wide receiver 2, mid-tier wide receiver 2.
I'd say mid.
I'd like to see more volume.
Yes.
But Tyler Boyd underwhelmed besides the touchdown without T. Higgins in there. T. Higgins is still the guy I want when he comes back.
Really? I'm starting to lean towards Chase maybe. Because keep in mind, Burrow only threw 18 passes, and I think this is a result of the game script where they were just feeding Mixon while they were ahead, especially at the end of the game. I think Jamar Chase he's looking like the real deal now that he's figured out the whole no stripe football thing. He's still fine.
Hold on 1 second. I will be right back. I have to fix something. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. For the Steelers, Najee Harris, 14 carries and 14 receptions. He's getting an absurd amount of volume. He plays almost every single play. He had 142 total yards. It's kind of disheartening that he doesn't find the end zone with getting that many touches, but that's coming, I think. I saw a stat today where Najee Harris is getting hit behind the line at the highest rate in the entire league. So that's definitely not what you want to see. You can, if you see on his stats or in the box score, his longest run was 20 yards. So he got half his yards in one play. That's not good at all for efficiency. But what's always going to save the day is he had 19 targets, 14 catches. Like you're playing him every week, 100%. He should be your RB1, RB2 at the lowest. As far as PPR rankings, he's going to be inside our top 10 probably. And then where would you have Naji for standard?
Standard?
Like around 10 maybe?
I don't know. I had him at 5 going into this week. I was super high going on Naji. I'm definitely concerned with the offensive line being so bad.
Yeah, he's getting hit in the backfield every single play.
But rest of season, I'm gonna give you some running backs.
Okay.
And we're gonna say, would we rather want them or Naji?
Okay.
McCaffrey, Henry, Kamara, Cook. Duh. I would say
Okay.
Aaron Jones, yes.
Okay.
Zeke, yes.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, Eckler, maybe. I think playing 95% of snaps and that being your second or third most amount of snaps all year, that is insane.
Eckler Harris is tough. That's really tough.
What about Nick Chubb?
Chubb. He's getting cut just because of the touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about talent, I mean, I would take Chubb for sure.
Yeah.
But Najee Harris, I mean, that's what you want.
19 targets is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen again, but I can't say for sure because I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is so bad. I do think that he is the worst quarterback in the league. Like,
wow,
I say that with full confidence after watching that game yesterday and seeing how non-elusive he is and how non-mobile he is. I think he's the worst quarterback in the league.
It does look extremely bad. I mean, and it's not like he's short of weapons. He's got Naji, Claypool, Juju when he's healthy, Deontay when he's healthy.
Drew Brees never looked that bad.
Yeah, it's he. I'm hoping for like Steelers' sakes and for like Steelers fantasy players' sakes that he picks it up, but I just don't see how. It's like his touch on the deep balls to like Claypool have been way off. It's it just hasn't been good.
Grant asked, if you guys had my team, who would you put on the trading block
Let me pull up his team just so
to get
everybody
a
can see.
high level tight end?
All right, let me find the Waffle House Warriors. Yes, his tight end right now is Jared Cook, and he has Cole Kmet on the bench. So
I would maybe wait another week or try to sell Chuba Hubbard. I would try to wait another week on Corey Davis. I'd wait for one of those big Corey Davis games.
you know who I think could get him like a really high end tight end is Kareem Hunt right now.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt. Is super
Let's just run it. Let's run him through his team real quick. He's got Tom Brady at quarterback. He's got McCaffrey and Miles Sanders as his two RBs.
You're
He's
not
got
moving
Justin
it.
Jefferson and DJ Moore at receiver. He's got Jared Cook at tight end. Kareem Hunt's in his flex. And then on his bench, he's got guys like Will Fuller, Corey Davis, Henry Ruggs, AJ Green, David Johnson, and Chuba Hubbard. I would be waiting for maybe a big game from Will Fuller or like Corey Davis and package one of them with Kareem Hunt and go for one of the top 5 tight ends maybe. Or if you want to tight end, a top 5 tight end, just come get one of them from my team, Grant.
Here we go. Here we go. Charlie asked, is Dak and Zeke dropping 40 plus for me in PPR tonight? I would personally say, that's a lot of points. I don't think so.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. Charlie, you're going to get the win. Have faith. It's PPR. They're going to be going to Zeke. Tony Pollard's going to, bend his knee backwards, and Zeke's going to be getting
likely scenario is Dak dropping 25 and Zeke dropping 15.
I think it's very doable. Very doable.
I mean, especially
the Eagles have looked good.
You do need Zeke to catch touchdowns. I mean, catch passes, not catch touchdowns.
And also find the end zone. Like, that's a must.
Yeah, if he catches, a few passes, then yeah, you're going to do it.
I think you will. I have faith. I think you will.
But off to the Steelers pass catchers. Chase Claypool had 9 catches for 96 yards with 15 targets. Juju had 3 catches on 4 targets. Deontay Johnson, why I think he's so good in the Steelers offense is because he's kind of the guy who runs these short routes. And, Ben Roethlisberger can only throw the ball 5 yards. So, I still think Deontay Johnson and then Chase Claypool and Juju are right there together.
Do you think Pat Freiermuth has passed Eric Ebron?
Eric Ebron has passed Eric Ebron himself. I mean, he stinks. I mean, what an outlier season he had for the Colts. I mean, the heck?
I think he's a solid tight end. I just don't think he's used correctly. They got him using like Gronk, like the Tampa Bay Bucks use Gronk. That's how he needs to be used.
I wish the Bills could use Dawson Knox like Gronk. Dawson Knox did have a nice catch, but we did not talk about Dawson Knox because Dawson Knox is Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
Off to the Cardinals.
The QB1?
It's kind of crazy that the QB1 threw no touchdowns and still had a QB1 day, but that's just who Kyler Murray is now.
Let's see where he finished with no touchdowns. I'll look that up real quick.
I'm pretty sure he had.
You keep talking.
I'm pretty sure he had 20 fantasy points.
He only had 18. He only had 18 and was
okay. So I did think he finished better than that.
He was QB 13 on the week so far. This is obviously before Dak and Jalen Hurts are playing. So you're definitely disappointed against Jacksonville because he had the highest projection this week. So it's a little bummer he didn't get the touchdowns, but his floor is so high.
And then off to James Robinson. You were talking about how you were super encouraged, what you saw from him.
I was encouraged last week, and then this week kind of just reaffirmed it.
You think he's a sell high?
No. I mean, unless you can get like a low end running back 1 or high end RB2, hold on to him. I think the production's coming. I think his stats have been impacted because Trevor Lawrence has been very, very careless with the ball.
Bad.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it. It's been bad. Excuse
I
me.
do think the Jags, like in just general, are bad.
Well, it's nice to see that J-Rob's in there for the passing downs, and when they give the ball to him and they don't just run it up the middle every time, it just pisses me off when they do that because they just pack the box. Um, he's he's shown he can do it. He showed it last year. He's shown it this year.
So, if someone offered you Joe Mixon for James Robinson, you're definitely taking Joe Mixon, right?
Oh, I mean Joe Mixon's getting a shit ton of volume. I'd have to take Joe Mixon.
What about somebody like?
Would you take Chris
Saquon-
Carson?
I do like Chris Carson more. Yes,
I think I do too.
I do like Chris Carson more.
What about a Miles Sanders?
I don't love Miles Sanders.
I don't either. I'd stick with James.
Oh, Leland II has a hot take. Let's hear it, Leland.
Let's
II.
hear it, Leland.
Oh no, screw your hot take. Join the Fantasy Fanatics League. I sent you a
Yeah.
link.
Big Mac. What are you doing?
I sent him a link to the fantasy basketball.
Mr. Auto Pick himself is going to be 3-0 likely this week.
I don't know if Leland just hopped in now, but Leland, join the fantasy basketball league.
Let's hear the hot take though. I want to hear it. It's probably going to be like Saquon goes like 400 yards. Where's Rodgers going after this year? Carolina Panthers. That's probably what's coming.
You think the Panthers?
No, that's what Mac's going to say.
I think
I think he stays in Green Bay. Hot take.
if he doesn't go, if he leaves Green Bay, I think he goes to Miami.
I think if he leaves Green Bay, he goes to Denver.
Okay.
No, you know what would be sick? What if he went to like New England? This dang
This-
game is about to start. Where's the game preview? And Spencer's wait, what was that? Put that back up because I can hear your mic too. It's like it's loud.
Is it really? What about
It's
now?
making some kind of buzzing noise. Wait, put that comment back up.
Hold on.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I didn't know if it was just me. Mic is kind of bugging out. It's just making like it sounds like an ox.
Is that good now?
Sure. What I want to say Max hot take. Rodgers and Cleveland.
Lord. Oh, good Lord.
We need to
He did-
screenshot that in case it
He did
happens.
say, he did say hot take.
Yeah,
just
that's
kinda
fair.
Let's just kind of go through the games real quick. We just totally skipped over the Jets and Broncos. Sorry, Broncos fans.
That's an anomaly. It doesn't matter. Don't
Quick
start any
hitter.
Jets.
Quick hitters, Dolphins, Raiders. With Josh Jacobs out, are you starting Peyton Barber?
Yeah, I throw him in as like a flex. I mean, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Lot of
you wanna
volume.
start- what about any Las Vegas receiver?
No, I would. If Henry Ruggs or Brian Edwards catches like some kind of deep pass and has a good week, I would sell high on them immediately, and I would take just about anything I could get for them.
Okay, and
Real quickly, is Derek Carr a startable quarterback?
yes,
I think
until
so, too.
proven otherwise.
I think he's certainly inside the top 15 for fantasy.
And then Myles Gaskin had 16 touches for 74 yards. Still trusting Myles Gaskin, not as much as I did before.
Yeah, it's more of like a flex now, I think.
Did Leland call Brady to the Bucks?
No, we didn't call Brady the Bucks.
This guy's a stooge.
If he did, maybe he like said it to himself or something. I don't remember that.
Why can't he just join the fantasy basketball league?
Yeah, Mac, what do you
Why
do?
is Mark J. Spears in my? Is that Mark J. That's not Mark J. Spears.
That's Marcus Spears, isn't it?
Oh, so it is Marcus Spears.
Yeah.
I just know in 2K he's always like.
Did you say
saying bad
Marcus
things about
J.
my-
Spears?
That's what his Twitter name is.
Oh.
So in NBA 2K it shows. All right, that doesn't matter. All right, Bucks Rams sell Ronald Jones now, or you're not
Just
even
drop
selling
him.
Drop him.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette not startable.
I'd keep him on your bench though.
Giovanni Bernard, don't touch him. He did lead the Bucks in snaps.
That's just because they were down. They're not going to be down very much. I would not even pick him up, to be honest.
Mike Evans had an okay game. 8 catches for 106. Chris Godwin, 6 catches for 74. Rob Gronkowski left the game for a little bit. Grant says that Leland called Brady to the Bucks.
Did he really?
I call cap.
I mean, there were some rumors going around. So, like, did he call? It depends on when he called it, because there was like rumors swirling about it.
Cooper Kupp. I saw today they were talking about on Fantasy Focus that if you had to draft the wide receiver 1 in fantasy redrafts, is Cooper Kupp the wide receiver 1? I don't think so.
No chance.
I would still take
DK Metcalf. Is that who you're gonna say?
Okay,
No,
you know what, Leland? Don't comment
Baker
another.
gets
Don't comment another thing until you join the basketball league. So I'm not saying anything until you join the basketball league.
I think Baker's a healthy scratch next week. Hot take. No, I don't think Baker gets the extension because I think the Browns choke in the playoffs.
You still don't think he gets the extension? All right.
I think he's on a different team next year.
All right. This is distracting me.
Is that hot?
What?
Is that a hot take? Baker's on a different team next year? Maybe he's the quarterback of the Packers.
No,
when Rodgers goes to the Browns.
I still think he's a quarterback of.
Okay.
Where do you rank Cooper Kupp for next week? I have him as probably the 3rd wide receiver ranked.
Really? I would say he's inside my top 10. I wouldn't go that high. I'm going to say maybe like the 8 or 9 range, maybe 8 through 10.
Let's do a little game preview for tonight.
Sure.
Dallas Eagles. I'm pretty sure Dallas is favored by 3.5. I picked Dallas to cover. I think you did not.
Do you not have the game picks up? We did this yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I think I went with Philly.
Yeah, you did go Philly.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I know where it is. You've got it.
You have Philly.
Okay.
We went a whopping. You went 6 for 6 so far. Not terrible. 50-50. I went
what?
You went 6 for 6.
You mean 6 for 12?
No, I'm talking about your record.
Huh?
I'm talking about your record.
Yeah, like I picked 6 games correct, 6 incorrect.
Yeah, you were 6 and 6 this week.
Okay, 6 and 6. I thought you said 6 for 6. Okay.
No, I may have said 6 for 6. I don't know. No, that's impossible.
But how does that even add up?
That doesn't add up. You were 7. Yeah. You were 7 and 6. How
does that add up? There's 16 games a week.
So the Thursday night game, we didn't do.
Spencer's been hitting the booze before he got on the podcast.
No, I don't. So we had.
Hold on, I'll figure it out. Give me a second. Let me find it.
Did we miss it? Oh, okay.
I thought it was like 9 and 6.
I just haven't calculated the Green Bay game.
Spencer, let's move on. This is embarrassing to be a part of.
What are you talking about? I said
you're still short. You're still short a game.
Not after Dallas and Philly, and then the Thursday night game.
No, I don't think.
No, because that's.
I think you'd still be short one, wouldn't you?
No, that's 14 that we've done so far. And then
okay.
The Thursday night game 15. This.
Oh,
game.
Okay. So you weren't including.
You shut your mouth and let me do my thing.
I didn't realize you had included the Thursday night game. I got you. Okay.
I think Dallas will cover. You think Philly will? You think outright win the game?
No, I'm gonna say they lose by 3.
Jalen Hurts will have 250, 2 touchdowns. Miles Sanders will have 50 yards, no touchdowns. Devontae Smith will catch one of the touchdowns. Dallas Goedert will catch the other.
Wow.
Dak will throw 303 touchdowns. Zeke will have 110 yards, touchdown. Amari will have 1. CeeDee Lamb will have 1. And Dalton Schultz will have 1.
Okay, I'm going to say Jalen Hurts goes for 290 with 2 touchdowns, 1 long one to Rager and 1 long one to Devonta Smith. I think he's got about 80 yards on the ground. I'm going to say Miles Sanders goes for 70 and a touchdown, and then I'm going to say Dak goes for 350 with 4 touchdowns, and Zeke has 2 of those receiving touchdowns. That's my hot take. Yep.
All right, we're about to kick Leland out of the Fantasy Football League. If he keeps
Why?
commenting without...
No, let's see. What was the comment?
No, if he keeps commenting without joining the Fantasy Basketball League.
Yeah, Mac, you're playing, right? You got to be playing. Like, what are you doing? You're a fake Horns fan. Or no, he's some kind of like fake Jimmy Butler fan or something like that. I can't remember.
I thought y'all both got Heat shirts.
Yeah, but I think he just follows like Jimmy Butler around. It's kind of like when he was a Seahawks fan because Greg Olson was there and we had a little Seahawk call. Oh yeah, yeah. You see Mac, you get the I could go, but that's dead and gone now that Greg Olson's in the booth.
Now
I guess Mac's just wearing the Greg Olson jersey, pulling for the commentators. Big Tony Romo guy.
Now a Fox fan. All right. Well, that will be it. Good luck on Monday Night Football tonight.
We'll see everybody.
Yep. I think that's it.